On Wednesday, today is Tuesday, September 13th, and we're on to episode 51. The hangover from episode 50 is over.
Yep.
Speak for yourself.
I'm feeling okay. We are on the other side, and we're better for it. How's everyone doing today? To my right, we have Vic. Vic, how are we doing?
I'm doing excellent, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
Harris across, our newly minted super sound engineer with the headphones and everything. How are you doing?
I'm feeling super duper professional right now.
You look super duper professional.
It's because I am.
Those beats are just a little too small.
Yeah, I got a big head.
And to our left, Carl Bird with his very own microphone, but not yet a mic stand. Carl, how are we?
I'm doing alright, man. It's always something, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. So, Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping turned into 8-day shipping. I didn't realize until I was setting up the fourth mic. I'm like, where the hell is that mic stand? I ordered that literally the same day. Thankfully, I did get a $10 credit from Amazon for my anguish.
But they did not change the shipping to next day.
No, which is odd.
That's a failure.
Yes, because I reached out to them yesterday.
Amazon Prime, they're supposed to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed that they did not do whatever it takes. Did the thing say that it was available for next day?
Yeah, 'cause
when you contacted Amazon?
when you and I were chatting back and forth, it said order the next 9 hours, choose next day, and it'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And then my email went out before the 9-day or 9-hour window was closed.
Wow.
So, not too happy. But, you know, Amazon Prime, I've been ordering them for like 10 years now since like their existence. So I can't really complain too much because it's the first flub. Unfortunately, it was something that we needed immediately. Well, within 2 days.
Right.
But, whatever.
Yeah.
Poor Carl. Sorry, Carl. Next week we'll really be full. Oh, we'll really be looking good.
It's all good. It's all good.
So we've had we started last episode. Today's big topic. Topic is comics, books to be exact. I was saying those two words at the same time.
Big tonic, I like it.
Before we get to that, I know I haven't read up too much. Victor, I heard this weekend that you took a little dive into a certain game. Eris and I are very familiar with. Tell us about that.
Oh, did he? Did he really?
Yeah.
So what was going on this weekend, Vic?
Yeah. So this past weekend, I was dabbling in the free Overwatch weekend on the PS4.
Oh, yeah.
You know, trying to get into that first-person multiplayer online-only goodness that you guys love so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it. I played a bit of matches against the AI, which was pretty fun. You know, it was pretty fun slaughtering the competition.
Yeah, get your feet wet.
Yeah, keep my feet wet with the mechanics. I tried out different characters like Soldier 76. It was like the every man.
Call of Duty man.
He's for the intro guys to get in there. I mean, I still play a lot of Soldier, but I also played a lot of Call of Duty back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, if we recorded this podcast back in that, I just have a Call of Duty podcast. So much.
So yeah, I played as him. I also played as what's that? The girl who wields two pistols. Tracer's
hard. I don't even play
Yeah,
Tracer.
she's
She's
hard.
difficult. John mains Tracer.
Yeah, I played as Tracer. I also played as the one who has like mystical powers.
Oh,
It's like a support
Zenyatta.
guy. Zenyatta.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also played as Diva, which was actually turned out to be my favorite character.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah, but it's fun.
A lot of people they'll do Tracer because she's on the box art, so they'll jump into her, not realizing that she's really difficult to play.
Yeah.
I tried her one time and she does like a back in time thing. I was like, no!
Yeah, that kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. I did enjoy it, and I do see why it's so popular and why you guys love the game so much. And I like the fact that each character has a distinct feel. So it's not just even though it is a first-person multiplayer shooter, it's not just all run and gun.
Yeah.
Like if you play as like the medic character, your job is to like follow some of your other teammates and heal them continuously. Or if you're Zenyatta, you have to like buff them up. And yet while defending yourself, so it kind of adds a little more challenge, rather than just a standard run and gun and duck.
Yeah, the main thing to remember if you play a medic, if anything goes wrong, it's literally always your fault.
Yeah.
So just remember that exactly.
I will say though that after I got my feet wet with the AI, I started playing against other players, and the first match was kind of a miserable experience. Because literally, it's like every time I would, as soon as I would pop my head out. One shot, I would be dead, just like that. Then it happened again and again and again. It happened 6 times in a row. And then the voice chat was on, so I was hearing other players remark about this. And I guess a couple of the other players, I guess who are more seasoned, said that, oh, somebody's probably using an aim bot or something to that effect. Some kind of like hacking thing where you can actually automatically aim and one-shot kill other players.
Now my question, excuse me.
Which will get you banned, by the way.
Yes. Well, yeah. In Blizzard, they do not hold back with their ban hammers. They will ban you for life.
Yeah.
You will never get back in there. They will find you. Now, was there a red line that shot you? Did you ever watch the kill cam to see how you died?
No, there was no red line. I thought that was like a sniper, but it was like literally just somebody who was like another character who has like another, just like a standard issue like machine gun or firearm, just one shot, boom, dead. And I was like, man, this is miserable. I'm not having a good time with this at all.
So, just to kind of go back, so I convinced Vic. I was the one who told him that there was a free weekend and to try it out.
Nice.
So I was very invested in finding out how he did in this, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm really liking this." So we were texting our chat, and he's like, "I really like this, you guys. This is fun." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, Vic. So what are you doing right now?" He's like, "I'm practicing. I'm fighting against the AI." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cute. Hey Vic, try it against real people. Tell me how that goes." And then he's literally like 15 minutes later, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling this game so much anymore." So the one thing I'll say to those accusations is, sounds like you're just getting sniped by a Widowmaker. The players you were playing with, if you were just solo queuing automatically, were probably not that seasoned because you would have been grouped together with other newbies, I would think. Against newbies, unless somebody like created a new account or something to try and go on or whatever. Like that's just a jerk move. But aimbots are not a thing on consoles. Like I've never heard of an aimbot on a console. Like that would be some software that you'd have to run in the background on like a PC for it to work. So whatever those guys that you were in a team with, I think you're just in a crappy team.
Yeah.
Nobody switched over to a Reinhardt and tried to at least put up a shield. Because I don't care what aimbots you got, they can't shoot through no damn shield, Vic.
Right.
So if they would have switched to Reinhardt, you might have been okay.
I'm curious what the kill cam looked like.
Yeah.
Because if it was a standard machine gun, it's not going to be one bullet.
Right, it has to be a Widowmaker.
Right.
Would have been a Widowmaker.
But also, like, it was newbie weekend, anything could happen. Our chat, my Overwatch crew was talking about getting on there and farming those newbies, but I never got on myself, unfortunately. But because I'm a higher level, I probably wouldn't be matched with you. But sometimes Blizzard matchmaking can get a little weird.
Yeah, I will say this: that farming newbies thing was not happening.
Right.
What level are you right now?
40 something.
Okay, so you wouldn't have gotten matched up with no newbies. I'm level 72 now, and I did play this weekend. I played quite a bit, and me and 3 of my other squad mates from Thursday nights, we went on Saturday evening, and boy was that a mistake.
Oh yeah.
That's when all the mutants and clans come out and fucking roll you.
I told you, when we played Saturday, we got pizzoned.
It was miserable.
Pizza Hut pizzoned.
Like everyone was just like, "I can't do this, man. I can't play this. I'm going back to play Destiny."
Oh wow.
It was bad. I think somebody said they were going to play Destiny. Somebody else said they were going to go play The Witcher. I'm stubborn, so I went back and played some competitive solo queuing, and I did okay.
Yeah.
So screw you quitters.
I mean, did you ever get reassigned your matchmaking, or did you ever try to jump out?
Yeah, we did. Oh yeah, we did. We just ran into like well-constructed competitive team after competitive team after competitive team.
Yeah.
We were trying to do some competitive, like even in quick play as well. This happened where we just got rolled. Like they were just well-constructed. Also, fuck Zarya. Zarya is the worst character in the game.
People are getting better at her.
She is the bane of my playtime in that game. I used to hate Genji. I hate Zarya now more than I hate Genji.
Which one is Zarya?
She is the big Russian woman.
Right.
Oh yeah, she sucks.
Yeah, she puts so her specialty is she can put a shield up. She can also put a shield on her teammates, and if you shoot her shield while it's up, not only does it absorb the damage, it will make her attack infinitely more powerful. The more you shoot her and her teammates.
Yep. You literally cannot kill her.
I really put my PlayStation back on.
Yeah, Carl, well, I might have one for sale pretty soon, Carl.
No, Carl, I will, Carl. I'll have a PlayStation 4 for sale for you, Carl. I'll give you a nice price, Carl.
I probably might just get.
And by nice price, I mean you'd have to pay a premium because it was in my house, Carl. You played it already. It was super sweet.
I will
Felt
charge
like
you.
just any other dead regular PS4.
Listen, bro. A founding member of the Codex Prime podcast owned that PlayStation 4.
Okay.
It is now memorabilia, Carl.
Mine too, except it was refurbished already. Yeah, Zarya, if you play against a good one, she's tough. If you play a shitty one, she doesn't know what she's doing with the shields.
Bad.
John has been doing a lot better. He's been playing more Zarya, killing it. But people are starting to realize what she can do, and also her Torbestein ultimate. If you link that up with another ultimate, does a lot of damage. Just don't shoot her when her shield's up.
It is ridiculous.
We also have to remind your teammates not to do that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a really good Zarya, like she will shield. Like I've seen good Zaryas shield a Reaper when he dives into the middle of your team to destroy you with his ult. And there's nothing you can do because usually you can disrupt a Reaper, shoot him in the face. But yeah, if you just have your Zarya shoot that barrier on you right before you jump into the middle and do your ult, you will be golden. I've seen it happen to me.
Yeah.
And it is the most annoying thing ever.
I'm going to try to do that this Thursday. Hopefully John will be listening to the show tomorrow and he will hear this as well. So do you think you're going to buy it?
Just Zarya, by the way, just FYI, I watch a lot of YouTube videos about Overwatch because I want to improve my game and whatnot. The pro guys who are like YouTube live streamers and stuff like that, they're basically saying that Zarya is the best tank in the game right now.
Oh my goodness!
Something. It wasn't me.
I think Carl did move forward, so it fell.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
We'll get there. The new studio is still under construction.
Yeah.
Look at that, right in Facebook Live.
yeah, everybody saw it.
So, yeah, man, if you get a good Zarya, it's awesome for your team, and fuck you for my team, okay? I hate you.
Get us up right now. We were getting so annoyed by her that John just wound up playing her. Are you buy it?
Nah, y'all can have it.
Okay. Did you play it on PS4?
I did.
I mean, if you roll with Eris's crew, you probably do a lot better and have more fun. But he doesn't. So
We have an overabundance. You would have to buy the game, play till you level up, and get better so you can contribute to the squad.
Yeah, that's too much work. I mean, it just boils down to get good, and you know what? I got other games I want to play. I mean, besides, I don't mess around with multiplayer only games, no matter how fun they are. So.
Did you open any of those sweet loot boxes, Vic?
Nah.
What?
That's the best part. I love
That is the best part.
Yeah.
It's the crack part.
I suppose, but I mean, it's like I said, it was fun playing against the AI. I mean, if Blizzard introduced something where they can beef up the AI to make it a more robust experience, then I'd be like, okay, I might give it a chance.
There's
against
difficulty levels for the AI in that game.
I know, but that's not enough. I mean, they should more than just adjusting the difficulty. But I mean, playing against other humans now, pass. I'm good.
I'm glad you get your hand, play with it. Myself, I still haven't solo queued in that game yet. I've only played with friends and family. I always say I'm going to do it solo, but I just never get around to it.
Yeah.
Carl Bird, I know you've had some PlayStation issues. You weren't able to partake in the free weekend. Did you do anything crazy this past week?
I did a few things. Friday, I went to go see the movie. Me and a friend of mine, we went out to go see When the Bow Breaks with Morris Chestnut and Regina Hall. Yeah, Regina Hall.
Wait, is that like a romantic comedy?
No, it's kind of like a suspense thriller type deal.
This sounds like a date, Carl.
It wasn't a date, but it's
a black thriller movie.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like it's in the same genre as Perfect Guy, No Good Deed, Obsessed, like all the
It reminds me. It reminds me strongly.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Carl. I need this concept explained to me.
Explain
the black thriller concept.
Like,
to
have
me.
you seen
No, don't tell me if I've seen anything. Break down the concept. Like, explain it.
No, that's the point. Like, have you seen Fatal Attraction?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah, it's all those movies are basically a ripoff of that. Essentially, where you have where the husband cheats on his wife with another woman, and the woman turns out to be extremely insane and homicidal.
I'll take the Han Solo movie. Is that
No
it?
cheating, actually.
Is that Fatal Attraction?
Yeah, that was Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, Han Solo. I seen that.
No, that was with Michael Douglas.
Oh, okay.
Michael Douglas.
Was Harrison Ford in one of those?
I
I feel like he was in one of those.
No, I don't think
It
so.
was Michael Douglas.
Yeah, it was Michael Douglas and
Okay.
Glenn Close.
That movie.
Yeah, Fatal.
Hold on, I gotta look this up because it's definitely a Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, but the so-called black thriller genre is like is where you have all these movies which have primarily black casts, and they're all poorly done, poorly reviewed, and they're all rip-offs of Fatal Attraction.
That's really sad.
It is.
The only black thriller I was aware of before you just introduced me to this concept was Michael Jackson's, and that's a really good black thriller.
That is a really good black thriller. It's the best.
So, what would be a white thriller? Just normal thrillers?
See, that's why I'm very confused by the concept of Victor. Like, I thought they were all just thrillers.
As the resident minority on the Codex
Well,
podcast.
the reason why I say black thrillers because especially in like the last 5 years, there's been a slew of these thriller movies with black casts, and inexplicably Morris Chestnut stars in most of them.
I'm glad that guy's found his niche.
I guess.
Oh, I was thinking of What Lies Beneath.
Yeah, What Lies Beneath.
There was like some weird.
I remember seeing
going
that.
on with that. Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Carl Berto was everyone a beer because his sounding off on his iPad or whatever that thing's called.
But yeah, Carl, continue with your review. I want to hear a Carl Bird summary of When the Bow Breaks.
Well, I mean, it's basically about a married couple who they could not have children, so they choose to find a surrogate, and this young girl played by Jazz Sinclair. You said her name was?
Yep.
Yeah, she was basically like the perfect fit. So they get to know her. She seems pretty normal and everything, and then it turns out like she was pretty much a scam artist, but then she ended up falling in love with Morris Chestnut's character and did everything that she could to try to like end his marriage and be with him, and then it just went through a whole mess of
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yeah.
So there was a Beyonce movie about this kind of thing, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Yeah, so was that a black thriller?
Yeah.
Man, I know what you're talking about now. I have seen those trailers. That actually makes sense.
No, I know the concept. So I know the movies he's talking about. I just didn't know there was a concept of. Now, is that a thing that you just invented, Vic?
No, I actually heard it in another review of the movie.
Oh.
Because they pointed out, like, all these movies fall under a specific type of unofficial genre, which happens to be black thrillers.
Okay. Yeah, there's
Interesting.
like a Jennifer Lopez type one too. She's not black, obviously.
No.
She was still like a thriller type thing.
I think it was Enough.
So, Vic,
I remember that one. I didn't watch it because I heard it was like absolutely horrible. But
Yeah, me either.
You're the target audience.
Speaking of black thrillers, Vic.
Yeah.
Are you going to go see Boo, a Medea Halloween?
That's what I was thinking. He's going with this.
they did have the trailer for that one. So I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, did they, Carl? They had it in
Or
front
that
of the
movie.
black thriller.
But on a good note, they did show the Doctor Strange trailer.
Oh, nice.
So I actually said to my friend, I was like, I would be happy if they just showed the Doctor Strange trailer. The second I said that, they just showed it. I'm like, yes.
Vic?
No. No.
Have you ever seen a Medea movie?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've seen two of the Medea movies, Diary of and Diary of a Mad Black Woman and Medea's Family Reunion, or Medea Goes to White Castle or something.
The diary one. Is that the original?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not missing anything. Those movies are awful.
Mm.
Just plain awful.
So if Medea or Boo, a Medea Halloween is black thriller, what is?
It's not even a thriller. That's actually meant to be like a comedy.
Comedy in the loosest term. In the loosest.
A friend of mine, Karina Holloway, mentioned The Boy Next Door with J-Lo. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
That's what I was trying to mention earlier.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
I
Thank you,
did not see
listener,
that.
watcher,
I
viewer.
don't think I've ever seen
Yeah,
that.
that's what I just saw. It was like on TV, like TNT or some shit. So that's what we think of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
that's
it-
the
yeah,
one where like J-Lo starts banging like a college kid, right?
Yeah.
Dang.
The Boy Next Door.
Yeah.
Door.
All right.
I hate that kid.
Thanks, Carl.
But yeah, I think the unofficial genre, not so much black thriller, but it's like Lifetime movie essentially.
Oh
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
so Medea has officially jumped the shark.
You know what?
I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna say this, man. With
She
the,
says you're welcome, by the way.
with the Medea movies, man. Like I said, like you're not missing anything. Like all the movies, they have the exact same plot line. You know, you have the the poor abused woman with her douchebag boyfriend / husband. Then she's kicked to the curb, and the douchebag husband happens to be rich and darker skinned. And then she meets another light skinned blue collar fella, and then they get together. And then they get to love is in the air. Love is in the air. But then she decides, well, I'm a good Christian woman, so let me give my douchebag husband a chance. Then douchebag husband is like, well, I'm dark skinned and I hate Jesus. Then bam. Then all of a sudden, Medea gets involved, the Grits gets involved, and then all of a sudden, then the woman gets married to her newfound love. They find Jesus. The end.
So when you say
that's it.
When you say light skin, do you mean like white or
No, there's different
Either
skins,
or.
A lighter shade of black.
Right.
Thank you.
No, there was also that one where it was a white dude.
Yeah, I don't know which.
There was that one. There was
yeah.
one where it was a white guy.
I know.
Married.
I
I
know.
think he
I
had a
don't.
darker skinned ancestor somewhere.
It was like some Irish fella.
Oh, never mind. I lied.
Yeah, I don't know which freaking one that was.
Me
I
neither.
can't even think
But I
of which
remember
one that
watching it.
So they all have the same exact plot line. So what you're saying is
Yeah.
Medea is kind of like the MCU.
Man.
Shout out to John Aponic.
Karina says that, and they have horrible cornbread wigs that they make them wear. Yes, Shamam was.
Yeah.
His wig was like awful.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. Unconvincing cornrow wigs. But I will say this though, one film that can be considered a guilty pleasure because it's so goddamn awful that it's just an unintentional comedy, but it's not a Medea movie. But it's so incompetent that it's hilarious. It's like a drinking game movie.
Huh.
Was Tyler Perry, wasn't he in an MCU movie?
No, he was in Star Trek, the
That's
first one,
right. Yes, he
and
was.
he was in Gone Girl, which was his best performance ever. Yeah.
Alex Cross, I knew that, but what? Was he in Ninja Turtles?
I am.
Yeah, he was.
really,
Out of the Shadows Part 2.
Alright.
I still have not watched that. I have to. I
Yeah,
will.
me too.
I might review it just as a dirty grandpa retro review. The dirty grandpa memorial retro review.
Oh man.
Ninja Turtles
I
2.
remember your Dirty Grand. Oh my god, you were so angry.
So,
Dirty Grandpa.
I'll be on that soon. I think that's streaming right now in most places, so I'll be checking that out sometime soon. But I really am enjoying this breakdown of the black movie genre.
Yeah, I think it's
really
great.
good.
We found our niche on the podcast market. Especially me, this is wild.
I especially enjoyed Victor's explanation of the plot of every Tyler Perry movie ever because it's so true. It's so true.
How many have you seen a Medea movie?
I've seen a hella ton of Medea movies. I've seen a lot.
I actually used to be a fan. I just kind of like grew out of it.
Yeah, same here.
Like I was just like, okay.
A couple movies back, she kind of jumped the shark, but I actually watched a lot of those back in the day. But then they got real lifetimey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very. Right.
Yeah.
That's like, well, that's his main. That's predominantly his audience, though.
Yeah.
Like you know that at some point, like Andre Woodard is gonna come in, give an inspiring speech. They're gonna go to church, sing "Oh Happy Day," and the a-hole black husband dude is gonna have his comeuppance in some way, shape, or form. Lord Jesus is gonna come down upon him and visit his wrath, and the wife, the abused ex-wife, is going to come to his aid because she is a good Christian woman, and they forgive and forget and not say, fuck you, guy, you totally beat me.
That's literally what Victor just said, like 5 minutes ago.
Right, but I'm saying, like, he did not give the Andre Woodard part, okay? That's very important. That's very important.
And,
Covered.
so John Gray says, I'm learning so much. Keep going.
He said live though. I can almost guarantee that John Gray has never seen a Medea movie like myself.
And he also says, what's a Medea? And
Hey, what's that?
Karina, what's a Medea? And then Karina is just replying to her. So.
I like it. A Medea is a...
Medea, it's a southern parlance for mother deer. Usually the.
Oh, that's true? That's a thing? Oh, I didn't even know that. I was joking. Okay.
I mean,
Yes, that's actually pretty common down south.
Yeah, down south.
I am learning things.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I mean, okay.
Yeah, and like I said, man, obviously I'm not a fan
Yeah.
at all, but
Gotta make that money some way, Vic.
I know. But the thing is, like, his audience. I gotta say this, I can understand liking Tyler Perry's movies. I can see why Medea I can see the appeal behind Medea and why she's so entertaining to millions of people. But for real, I mean, if you're a fan of Medea, step your motherfucking film tastes up, man. Demand more from your entertainment. Demand more from your films starring reputable black actors that deserve better work.
But what if I just want some feel-good black content?
That's
Vic?
all, man.
Goes
That's
like that.
all. That's all it is. Everything doesn't have to be all extra Oscar nominated or any type of like.
What was that?
depressing
Why
shit.
didn't you just fold your arms in?
I don't know.
you were a
I'm trying to.
T-Rex?
That's my poor Ben
Does
Carson.
a T-Rex like Oscar?
That's my poor
Ben
Ben Carson impression. But yeah, everything doesn't have to be like that. Sometimes we just need to like lay
Right.
back and chill.
Hey,
And then
hey.
Medea was always entertaining to me because it like reminds me a lot of my family members down south. That's all it was. Like, and it's just whatever.
Oscar.
It's not really necessarily meant to like take extra seriously.
Right. Oscar T-Rex, trademark, Codex Prime Podcast.
There
I
you
want
go.
the Oscar T-Rex Awards at the end of the year where we go through the Oscar nominations and see which one's Oscar T-Rex like.
But thank you for that courtesy call, Brenda. That was very insightful,
Yeah,
actually.
there's actually something else I did too. that we
Great.
just completely forgot about.
I think that Tyler Perry, before he jumped the shark with some of his latest content, it had...
It fell off.
They did, certainly.
Just
They had a place. Some of that stuff explored some interesting, deeper concepts before it just became Medea being fat and her family farting all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, back when he first started, there were some interesting movies that I thought they were interesting. They had some feel-good, you know, black moments or you know, stories in them that ended with a happy ending, and church-going folk could enjoy them, and folk that just want to be
Yeah.
entertained could enjoy them as well. They had their place. That time has passed.
yeah,
Now it's Halloween. Now it's Scooby-Doo.
pretty much.
When does Medea meet the Harlem Globetrotters is what I want to know.
I don't be surprised if that actually comes to
Don't give
fruition.
them any ideas, more.
Bro, when Medea meets Kiss, you know. That's when you know.
I mean, if I were Tyler Perry, I would totally sell out too. I mean, come on, man. Let's make that money. But I want to move us on from the Tyler Perry discussion. Richard City, one other thing you
Yeah,
took part in?
I actually won tickets off Hot 106, our local radio station.
What?
Did
And
you shout out the Codex podcast? When they said, where can you listen to win shit?
I really-
Codex podcast!
I did actually.
Yes!
But
Yeah!
yeah, I went to go see Sinbad at Foxwoods.
Oh, nice. You're probably the only one that called to get those tickets. That's probably what you want.
Yeah, but there was no I knew for a fact that there was no millennials that was gonna actually try to win it. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it anyway. And then I won.
Listen, First Kid is a classic. That was that movie, right? Where you have to protect the first
Mm,
kid.
I think
I never-
I
never
think he was
liked
in that.
Sinbad,
Oh,
so
you're so
I don't
good.
care. Honestly, I thought Sinbad had died.
I thought so too. But then he came back with a special like a couple of
You
years
talked
ago.
about that in
That was
the show,
pretty good.
actually, I think. I think you did. I think you talked about this. Talk about that in the show. A Sinbad special at some point.
Yeah, it came out when he first came back in 2009. He actually
Oh, I
mentioned
lied.
that people thought he died.
Oh, weird.
Sinbad. I'll always love
It
you.
looks great though.
Yeah, good. Good for him.
But,
I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah, but it was a really good show. It was actually not like just your typical like stand up comedy special. It's Jingle All the Way with Sinbad's best role. Good shit, John Grace. but but it was like he had his opening act was a kid named Chase Anthony. He was around like our age. He was actually pretty funny. So Sinbad comes out. But then he brings Chase out, and the show was basically, it's like you're getting advice from your funny uncle, like who's just like real quick with it. He's very with it and just funny as hell. So that was basically what the whole show was, and it was actually a really good turnout. So we had a good time,
Nice.
and that's pretty much it. Other than the football gods basically telling me to fuck my dreams.
That's
Lost
funny.
both my fantasy leagues. My Dallas Cowboys lost by 1 point, so it wasn't a slaughter. So
Terrence
yeah.
Williams, you're the best.
I was
Oh,
gonna
that
ask,
was awful.
So for listeners who, like Victor, don't watch sports ball, the NFL season really kicked off on Sunday
Oh, it totally did.
with all the games. The Dallas Cowboys with their backup quarterback did not do so hot. The New England Patriots.
No.
with their backup quarterback
Every
did hot.
team did good.
Super
It's
hot.
just that one play just completely
Were
like
you watching the game live?
Yeah.
What was your reaction when Terrence Williams did not run out of bounds.
Oh, I was pissed as hell.
That made me uncomfortable when I saw that. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, yeah. If anybody who knows football knows, you got like 12 seconds left in the game. You know, no timeouts. You run the fuck out of bounds.
Right.
Des Bryant was literally telling him to get out of bounds right in front of him.
Yes.
So
right in front of him.
when I saw that happen, my first thought was, Carl Bird.
I believe it. I believe it. You know, I'm such a big fan that whenever the Dallas Cowboys do something, everybody hits me up like right away.
Right.
It was super cute. Before the game, Carl had this Facebook post up with some background music, being all excited, talking about the quest for 6 begins today,
Hey,
which made
listen,
me lull
listen.
super hard. And then I laughed harder after they lost.
Listen,
fashion.
it's only week 1. We have 15 weeks to right our wrongs.
It was the cowboyiest cowboy start to the season.
I want the
But
Cowboys
hold
to
up.
do well.
But
I
check
want Carl Bird
this.
to be happy.
The last time the Cowboys lost their season opener, we ended up going 12-4, and we got screwed over by a bullshit call.
The
It
Dez
was a
play.
catch.
The Dez play.
Yes.
He had another one of those, didn't he? This past game, wasn't there an overturned call?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no, Morris, that is not wrong. On the other side of that fence, Carl's Cowboys misery brings me great joy, and every time something like this happens, I do not hit him up, but I go on his Facebook and see all of his complaining Cowboy friends and laugh at them.
You know what's interesting?
Every single one of them. I laugh at you all, Carl's Cowboy-loving friends.
Before the Patriots were the Patriots, and they're the really annoying team that you don't like, Victor, because, you know, they're so cool. It was the Dallas Cowboys, like, legit. It was the Cowboys. And they're still number 1 in sales and all that stuff. They're still there. I mean, I will give them credit. They're still there. But
They have a stubbornly loyal fan base.
It's like a
I'll
half-
give them that.
now it's like a half, like, they
They
still were amazing in the 90s, and then they're still, it's weird. I don't even know how to explain it. I can't explain it. But it's, yeah. They try.
That's
They
the
do try
one
their
thing
best.
that I give Carl respect for. He has never betrayed his team. No
Unlike
matter
somebody to
how
my right.
Why are you a,
garbage they always are.
Here's my question, though. Why are you a Dallas Cowboys fan? I don't think I ever asked you this.
That started when I was a fan when I was a kid. Started playing remember the game Tecmo Super Bowl?
We've had this conversation before. That's why I played the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. He was a bandwagon jumper, just like you. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Except he just stayed on the bandwagon instead of switching to his local sports team like you did, which is perfectly sane.
No, it's not.
I don't blame
Have
you.
you
No,
ever-
it's not.
have
No,
you
it's
ever
not. I
played-
respect anybody who has grown up here and was not a fan because nobody was a fan.
Well, I was a Yankees fan.
I respect that.
I am a Yankees fan. But have you ever played the New England Patriots in the 1-15 Tecmo Bowl?
No.
Yes.
They're terrible. Scott's
They,
all
they
like,
are
"Yeah,
awful.
shit."
They were awful. That's why I hated them.
It's a video game, Vic. Best football game out there. Screw Madden. Tecmo's all the way.
Stephen Ho says you're looking sharp in the
Yeah.
blue shirt.
What?
Stephen Ho says you're looking sharp in the blue shirt.
Oh, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate that. Moving on from football, because I want to spend all day on it. We'll do a little sidebar at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, football season started. Good times. Good times were had by all, except for Vic.
Yeah.
What you end up doing?
And Carl. Carl didn't have a good time.
Oh, shit, no,
It's the
man.
last 5 seconds.
Those last few minutes was just awful. But other than that, being around, my boys and everything, just watching the games that we usually do, was always a good time.
Eric, did you get up to anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched during the Patriots totally win on Sunday Night Football, and it was super awesome. And even though Tom Brady is gone, not forgotten,
Good.
we still have the most handsome quarterback core in the entire NFL. It blinds defenses. Jimmy G's handsome face.
Albert, you know he's handsome. You can't even say he's not. You can't even say he's not.
You can kiss my ass. Did you guys see the wait, which pregame show do you guys usually watch?
I don't watch pregame.
Because on Fox, Rob Riggle usually does. He does like a little comedic skit on the Fox pregame show.
Carl, is this going to be an explanation of an unfunny joke making fun of Tom Brady?
No, the whole thing was based on that Broadway play Hamilton, but it was all about Jimmy Garoppolo. It was actually pretty funny.
Okay, cool.
Like calling him like a no-namer.
Are
and
you
stuff.
going to find the link on YouTube to that and put it on our page?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Carl.
But I just brought it up because I think you would actually enjoy it.
So, as Maurice pointed out, we went out into the expanse of the desert, into hostile territory against a Super Bowl contending team fully healthy with all of their stars back and starting on their offense and defense with our backup quarterback
Gronk wasn't playing, and I was unhappy
with
with that.
no Rob Gronkowski, 2 backup tackles, 2 rookie guards, an undrafted center, no starting running back, and we won.
Sure did.
It was super delicious.
Yeah, it was a good game. I hate staying up late for those primetime games though. But my love for just football in general. I mean, the Patriots one thing, but just the rest of it, it's starting to dissipate a little bit. I just can't. It's so much going on.
So,
As
You
soon
play
as
fantasy?
not as heavily as I used to, but as soon as people on Thursday night, when the opening game of the season, people are already complaining about Cam Newton. Oh, the NFL, what are they? I'm just like, I can't wait for the season to be over.
he got destroyed. Like, it was super
I know
wrong.
people are complaining about the concussion stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like there's already another controversy. I'm over it.
That's what the NFL does,
I
man.
know. That's why I have to stay off of everything. I'm only going to try and focus on one and my fantasy guys. That's why I cut it down to 2 leagues and not 5 like I used to be in.
You really get flustered easily, don't you?
I used to be all in on it. I used to be all in it.
You really
Like
does.
over time, it's just becoming just constant.
So let me ask you this. I know
Annoyance.
that you watched a lot of football this weekend as well. Just
Red
like
zone.
myself.
Yeah.
Tell me that 4K experience, bro.
Oh, the only game I watched on my television, my 4K television, was the New England Patriots game.
As it should be.
It was really awesome. It looked great.
Cool.
Jess watched with me, and she was highly impressed by my 4K. I was like, wait till you see this in action. 'Cause I really use it that much.
Listen, bro, we don't need all those behind the scenes.
No, we focus on the game.
White
That's-
love
if it was like another, like it was like Red Zone, but no, it was legit. It was awesome. Sports mode was really cool, and the nice thing about sports mode is that it actually turns up the volume of the crowd and turns down the volume of the announcers, so you can really focus on the stuff you need to hear because the announcers are dumb. There's a lot of Patriots fans there, but
the Patriots fans travel really well.
Yeah.
Notice that every time. But yeah, it looked fantastic. I don't use the sports mode on my 4K TV because I find that it turns everything super bright and the grass looks neon green.
It really
and
does. It's awesome.
I don't enjoy it.
One thing I will say, if you're a sports radio listener and you feel you hate it, the local people, because they are all terrible, I would recommend turning them off and finding podcasts for
Yep.
everyone, especially you, Carlberg, especially because you're not local there. If there's a Cowboys podcast, find that shit if you don't already and listen to it. It's
I
awesome.
listen to one.
Yeah, it's awesome. Podcast, it's awesome. Cause
Podcasts are just awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just the whole meeting. and
True
stuff
that,
is just
Carl.
awesome.
Something.
I would imagine,
Especially the Codex Prime podcast.
That's right.
Indeed. I would imagine that a Cowboys podcast would be extremely depressing.
No, not at all. No,
You're probably thinking of like a Cleveland Browns one,
Oof.
or
Oof.
who else?
Los Angeles Rams
Oh,
one
Los
after
Angeles Rams.
after last night. That shit was
Jeff
awful.
Fisher Rams.
A Tennessee Titans podcast would
Yeah.
probably not be that much fun.
Yeah, I would say the Rams for sure.
Just after last night.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like,
hopefully.
for the Patriots, PFW in progress is awesome. And if you must stubbornly insist on listening to local sports radio here in the New England area, Tuesdays 2 to 4 on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Sports Illustrated's Greg Bedard goes on there with Felger and Maz, and he breaks down the game, and it's really thoughtful and analytical, and it's fantastic, non-stupid local sports
Yeah,
radio.
you had a good talk with Felger today about Garoppolo.
Sure
so.
did.
Also, if you're a Yankees fan, Bronx Pinstripe Show.
Yeah,
that
no one
one's nice
cares
because
about
it's not official, it's unofficial. It's
Boo.
just a couple friends
Boo.
watching. It's awesome.
Nope.
I like it. I don't know if this Red Sox one.
I'm not a baseball fan, but if I was, I probably would check that one out.
Yeah.
Carl,
If
put
I
your mic
would-
up to your mouth, please.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
If
you,
I
you
was-
you now have an audio engineer listening to you, Carl.
Once you get you the mic, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I might stand, excuse me.
Nah, if I was a baseball fan, I would go for Yankees.
Yes, if even if you don't listen to this podcast, look them up. They're awesome.
I'm just not a home. I'm not a home teamer at all. Sorry.
Nick, more links to the news?
Yeah. Yeah, got some news headlines for you this week. First headline, director Lexi Alexander is going to direct the long-rumored Chris Benoit biopic Crossface. Lexi Alexander, she famously directed Punisher Warzone, one of the great Marvel movies, and Green Street Hooligans, and she's going to be directing this Benoit film. And years ago, in fact, Liev Schreiber was actually rumored to be considered for the role of Chris Benoit. So it'll be very interesting if this movie does come to pass, and see how WWE keeps pretending like Benoit never existed.
Well,
Although they do it for good reason, though.
definitely good reason. Honestly, I wouldn't want to see this as a feature film. I would rather just see a documentary because, I mean, To me, there's still like so many unanswered questions about that whole situation. Definitely a horrible tragedy, but I would much rather see like a documentary. I mean, with people who like knew him the best. You know, Chavo Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, and others.
There was a podcast with Chris Jericho where he interviewed Nancy Benoit, Chris Benoit's wife. It's her sister. Yeah. And they went into some detail on that stuff, and it was really good. It was really good because Chris Benoit was one of his best friends.
Yeah.
Still doesn't understand what happened to this day. So that's actually a really good listen. I don't listen to his podcast, but I did download that specific episode to listen. It was really good.
Find that one, but that's what I would much rather see as far as like, and then bad casting, and then like you have to get like people, avoid like defamation of character lawsuits, so you have to like embellish the stuff.
Who would play Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
Who would play everyone?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The closest person I can think to play Eddie Guerrero is freaking Michael Pena. That's just off the top of the head. But
Is that the only Spanish actor that you could think of, Carl?
Emilio Estevez and
Emilio Estevez? What is his
No,
name?
they actually
God.
that was his accent. But no, I would.
don't know Spanish actors.
That's just the first one that came to mind. But
Michael Pena is super awesome, though.
Yeah.
I loved him in World Trade Center.
Maybe Edgar Ramirez or Gail Garcia Bernal.
Yeah, that's a
But,
good one right there, Vic.
Yeah.
I don't like I honestly, I'm not a big fan of the films that are based off of true events because they're all they just make shit up as they go along anyway. They pick what they want. It's just, they have to dramatize. I get why.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. Like you're just saying, Carl. It's not. I'd rather see like some invest. But even documentaries can be a little, depending on who.
They can be a bit one-sided.
Unless you're making a murder, because that shit was cash.
Yeah. That was good. But yeah, interesting.
And also, Lee Schreiber's gigantic.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit was fairly small.
He was definitely short.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in person. He was like, he was short.
Yeah, some other news. PlayStation 4 Pro and Slim have officially been confirmed by Sony. The PS4 Pro will be launching on November 10th for $400. The console will support 4K and HDR, high dynamic range, imaging, and other features will include a 1 terabyte hard drive, doubled GPU power, boosted clock speed, and technology adapted from AMD Polaris' graphical architecture.
Eris, can you bring us through this and put this all into layman's terms, please?
So, first off, I'd like to point out, Victor buried the lead here. Going with Benoit over the PS4 Pro, bro? Man.
Well, you gotta start
Serious
low and
choice.
just bring the mood up.
Listen, Carl, if it bleeds, it leads. There's plenty of blood out on the internet over the PS4 Pro. So the PS4 Pro is a curious beast, and I kind of feel for Sony on this one because it's pretty hard to show people, the positives or the features that you get with 4K and HDR without them actually seeing it in 4K and HDR. It's just tough. So, a lot of people were complaining that press conference was really, I watched the whole thing, and it was really somber. It wasn't like Sony's sort of more recent press conferences. It was full of life and theatricality and all this stuff. They brought out the main architect, like the main technology architect at Sony who worked on, the PlayStation 4 and now the PS4 Pro, and it was very much as this guy kind of standing on stage and spitting some technical game at folks that a lot of people, kind of had go over their head, and they tried to demonstrate some of this stuff, which is pretty tough. Mm-hmm. So, in layman's terms, 4K, it's faux 4K. So the console itself is not going to spit out true 4K games. So that, it's not going to be true 4K output from the console. What it's going to do is going to use some advanced processing technologies to upscale a lot of the games to 4K. And all that extra power. What I find nice is that Sony is going to be allowing the developers to use the power of that PlayStation 4 Pro in whichever ways they see fit to improve their game, which I find pretty cool. So it kind of puts the onus on the developers to choose and create the artistic vision that they want to see. So, some of the games they showed off, Horizon Zero Dawn looked straight up jaw-dropping.
It did look amazing.
Like, like it's ridiculous how good that looks in 4K and HDR. So HDR, high dynamic range, is of the new hotness. You know, even over just regular 4K. If your TV supports HDR, you're going to be able to see just a wider color gamut. And it just is going to show, you know, little details that you were not able to see before in the color spectrum on your TV. And they kind of showed this off by showing a couple of images of, like, you know, the sky and clouds and sort of how the sun disperses light through those clouds. In a regular non-HDR set, you just see sort of one uniform color and everything's gray. But when they displayed the HDR image, you could see that the sunlight was sort of, you know, dispersing color through those clouds, and you could see, you know, burnt oranges and yellows coming through those clouds, and it's really cool looking. And HDR is kind of the bigger deal even over 4K. 4K is going to look amazing, as both you and I know, Maurice. Mm-hmm. But HDR is going to add a layer on top of that. Now, the other thing that's throwing people off is the fact that Blu-ray is Sony's thing. They sort of spearheaded, developed that format, and they're not including a 4K Blu-ray player in this thing. Microsoft already has one in the Xbox One S. So Sony's sort of throwing their hat really behind the streaming services here. They announced that they're going to have a Netflix app developed from the ground up for the PS4 Pro that's going to feature tons of 4K content to stream, as well as a 4K YouTube app that's going to launch a little bit after the console's out. So Netflix is going to be out with the console, but YouTube is going to be out a little bit after, is what they announced.
So now, I think the reason they're doing that is because not as many people are buying Blu-rays anymore. I would say about 25%.
I legit can't remember the last time I put a disc inside one of my consoles to watch.
Are you buying Blu-rays lately?
Not.
Yeah.
Well, my PlayStation's
Come on.
been down. So
Come on.
I mean,
Are you even going to ask Victor?
I'm assuming Victor has.
I
That's what I'm
just
saying.
bought one today.
That's what I'm saying. 25%.
I've got one right here.
There we go.
25%. Also, a friend of the show, Lisa Pierce, said that Chris Benoit was her lead. That was her top story.
Get out of here, Alicia.
Well, thank you.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so that's
no,
I'm sorry,
literally,
but-
don't go anywhere. Seriously, please stay.
I
But
would not. I don't care about that.
right, I don't care about it either. It would have been nice to have, but I'll just have it in my Scorpio when I get that, whenever that thing
Right,
comes out,
and I
and
Star Wars
never
last
use it.
Movie I watched.
So the other thing that you know they probably did that to keep costs down.
Yeah.
That thing announced at a price of $399, which was the original launch price of the original PS4. So they're not moving off, you know, the price, and you're getting a much better console power-wise. You know, in 2016, like that's the big thing about the PS4 Pro. They're dropping it on November 10th, 2016. Nobody expected this thing to come out this year. We're at least a year away from Scorpio. So say whatever you want about, you know, Microsoft and what they're doing and the power that they're going to put out on their console. It's a year away. So Sony's going to have that year head start to get people into 4K gaming, and that might be significant, regardless.
So Scorpio more powerful. So
It
this is more Xbox One S than it is Scorpio.
No, it's not Xbox One S.
Oh,
Xbox
in the
One
middle?
S, it is kind of in the middle, I guess.
But earlier.
Right, a lot earlier. So
Like Blu-rays when they beat HD DVDs.
sort of. I mean, those competed at the same time.
Did they?
Actually, they did. They came out at the same time.
But now Blu-ray is a thing, right?
Right.
Jesus Christ.
4K Blu-ray.
4K Blu-ray, excuse me.
Right.
Okay.
4K Blu-ray is the thing that just recently started rolling out.
Okay. Yeah.
But I, for one, am looking forward to getting this just because, I mean, I bought a 4K TV, so, you know, I've been looking for more 4K content
Right.
to, you know, put on that thing, so...
Netflix is all the original stuff. Luke Cage is going to be in sweet 4K.
Oh, believe me, bro. I started, my TV itself, the Netflix app on the TV does the 4K streams on Netflix, and it looks, I just started watching Marco Polo on Netflix, and if you haven't watched that show is fantastic.
first
by the way.
episode.
Really good. So I'm
You
going
started
to-
Narcos?
No, not yet. I started Marco Polo out.
Hey, you watch Stranger Things?
Not yet.
God damn it! I didn't watch anything. That's right. We didn't really do anything the past week. All right. Okay.
Right.
Cool. So it's if you want the power boost, get it. If not, you're not missing. You're missing the power boost. But if you're not a 4K TV guy, you're not gonna go spend $500 to $1,000 on a 4K TV. Don't really go crazy.
I mean, the other thing is that you will get benefits off that console, even if you don't have a 4K TV. You know, developers can choose to use that power of the PS4 Pro to give better frame rates, or just the higher, you know, resolution textures and things like that, or just have more freaking grass in their game. I don't know, something like that. So the way I think about this thing is, I compare it to the way PC is right now, where games come out for the PC, and they have to support a rather wide spectrum of system specifications because not everybody's going to have that beast PC. You know what I mean? So people with a higher end GPU are just going to have a better looking, better running game, and people with not so beefy, powerhouse PCs, they're still going to be able to play the game. They're going to be fine. Everybody who owns a PS4 is still going to get every PS4 game. You're not going to be left out in the cold. So that's the one thing that Sony's doing that's really interesting here, is that they're not splitting the user base with this console. They're going to have it be universal here. So if you have a PS4 Pro, you're going to get an improved version of that game, but you're not. If you have a regular PS4, you're still going to be able to play that game, and we all know that PS4 games right now look fantastic.
True. Very true.
Either way, you got it good.
I mean, I'm going to get it because I want to get the boost for the VR.
Right.
We'll do a VR special episode. I don't know, it's going to be a little interesting how we do that, but I guess it'll be a thumbs up, thumbs down. But we'll all definitely try here in sweet 4K. What next?
Yeah, next, The Last Guardian has been delayed once again.
Yo, is The Last Guardian basically like the detox of video games?
It is. That's a good.
It's more the Duke Nukem Forever of video games.
Well, they've been delayed just as long, and Detox got canceled eventually. But yeah, the game has been pushed back from its October 25 release date to December 6th. Apparently, Team Eco says that the game has found more bugs than anticipated, so they're gonna have to spend some time cleaning those up so the game can be fit to print.
Cool. That just means more Overwatch.
Yeah, you just asked about that last week. You said, is that going to stop your Overwatch playing? Well, it's going to October. JK.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Have you been looking forward to it since it was announced?
Yeah.
But now you're just kind of like, whatever. When it comes out, it comes out. That's the best way to do it.
Pretty much.
Believe it when you see it.
Yeah, when I see it on the shelf, that's when I know it's real. Also, other news, mods for PS4 versions of Fallout 4 and Skyrim have been banned, pretty much. They're unavailable on the PS4. Bethesda announced that Sony will not approve user mods for the PS4 editions of Fallout 4 and the upcoming Skyrim Special Edition. However, the Xbox One version does have approved user mods for their console.
Of all my gaming, I've never really used mods. I remember in Half-Life 2, they had like that weird creative thing where I just shot like cannons of cows around. I don't really remember, but I've never been in mod. I mean, you could like transform a game into a whole different experience. I know that a Skyrim mod just came out that's essentially a whole different game.
Yep.
Like an expansion pack, which sounds pretty dope.
Yeah.
But I've just never really been about it.
But like consoles, the concept of mods and consoles has always been real clumsy, so I could care less about this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed because, that means that PS4 users have the inferior version of Fallout 4, and the incomplete version, no less. So I'll just trade my copy in eventually, because I'm barely playing it as it is. And last headline is Jurassic World has been confirmed as the start of a new trilogy. So there's going to be 2 more films in this new series. J.A. Bayona, who's directing Part 2, Jurassic World Part 2. He also directed The Orphanage, which is a really cool Spanish horror film. His film's going to be the second part of the trilogy, but the plot is unknown. But a rumor is that the plot of this film and the next one might include open-sourced dinosaur cloning technology, where basically anybody who has the technology and the means can clone their own versions of the dinosaurs.
Bring back Grant. That is all.
Yeah. So you can literally create an army of raptors with machine gun hands if you wanted to. That could be a thing.
I support that.
I would support that, actually.
I mean,
Because I'll tell you this, the Jurassic World was fucking boring. That was a boring ass movie. I know you liked it, Maurice.
I was gonna say, didn't you love it, Maurice?
I mean, I enjoyed it a lot.
Which is fine, but when I watched it, I fell asleep in the middle of it. I had to take a 10-minute nap just to get through the rest of it.
John Gray says, plot unknown. I wonder if there will be an island in dinosaurs.
I wonder.
Well, outside of the San Diego rampage in the Lost World, there haven't really been like dinosaurs released into populated areas. Well, that's a lie because Jurassic World did that in like the theme park. But I mean like like living spaces type deal.
dinosaurs in the hood. I don't know.
Yeah, I would support that too. Medea meets dinosaurs. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed Jurassic World for what it was. I've been on the nostalgia, which I talked about recently. I don't always do, but it had been a long time. So that was essentially a sequel to Jurassic Park, not The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3, which I also enjoyed. Grant was in it. Yeah.
As long as this leads to a Riptor movie, that would be great. Riptor from Killer Instinct. He's a dinosaur that fights people.
Oh,
I thought you were trying to
I
say.
just want that. Can somebody genetically engineer Riptor and just make it a Killer Instinct movie? If so, I'm on board. If not,
I thought you were trying to talk about Reptar from Rugrats.
He was cool too, bro. If they can make Reptar, I would watch that movie
I
2
would totally
times.
watch this.
Busta Rhymes comes back and does the voice.
Oh man, I'd be all about that. Busta Rhymes' voice on him?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, for one of the movies.
Oh, weird.
I guess we'll definitely have to have that nostalgia episode, Carl. There's been wanting for like years now.
Cadillacs and dinosaurs. How about that?
I like it. I'll be all about that. Yeah, I really enjoyed Jurassic World, and I mean, I'm a big fan of Chris Pratt. I think he's awesome. I think he's like one. He's cool because like a lot of the big lead, not like a big star who can carry a movie now and bring people to the theater. I think he's like a throwback to some of those guys, and good for him because I loved him on Parks and Rec, and he's just fat. And I always support people when they get skinny and hot.
He is certainly charismatic.
Alicia says, call in Carl B. Rex. Insert previous T-Rex hand motion. Good one, Alicia. That was good.
I like it. So, any closing thoughts on some of the news items, boys?
Nope.
Awesome. Carl Bird, what have you been reading? Comic books, main topic.
Comics.
We have actually a pretty eclectic taste here because I dove more to some of the Star Wars pieces that were coming out, the big volumes. Eris is going to chime in some Secret Wars. I'm not Secret Wars. You did it last time.
Civil War.
That's right. So many
I
wars
caught
going
up on
on.
Civil War too.
Yeah. Vicky did some independent pieces. Oh yeah, no, it's not so independent. I like that. And Carl Bird, what did you get in on?
I've still been reading the Drax series written by CM Punk. I mean, it's okay. It's nothing like really major. I mean, at this point, I'm like so invested into it. So now I just might as well just keep it going. It's basically about Drax still trying to, on his quest to find Thanos and kill him for, killing his family and whatever.
So, but does this take place after Civil War, before Civil War, during Civil War?
It's kind of like it's just own like separate story.
Okay, and he's intergalactic, so it doesn't really matter what the Earth
Yeah,
is.
Yeah, it is, and he comes across like people, certain characters from his past, and then like all of a sudden, like there's a bounty on him because he was like in some type of jail, and then he gets Carl Summary coming up. And then he
I'll just ride with it, man.
Yeah, breathe, man.
Ride with it, man. You don't have to interrupt the Carl Bird summary to let us know it's a Carl Bird summary. We'll know. We know when we see it, Carl.
But yeah, and then along the way, along some of his battles, he ends up coming across like a bunch of orphan kids, and there's bounties on him because one of them happened to be really rich, so so he's just bringing them back to their homes, and then all of a sudden he comes across a certain like a space lizard egg, and now like the lizard egg has hatched, and now the baby lizard thinks it's his mother, and and
I read a Mario Brothers comic book where Yoshi was born and thought Luigi was his mother. That was a good comic. That's where CM Punk got the idea from, I bet.
possibly I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it. But I mean, it's entertaining. It's nothing. It's not like one of those serious stories that I was kind of hoping that you would come out with.
Okay, so because I mean, Drax is a pretty serious character. He's trying to avenge his murdered family.
Yeah.
So it's more jokey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting. That's interesting. Have you read Guardians of the Galaxy or Drax before?
No, I haven't. Okay. But and another one I actually started. I think I'm not sure if he was but it's a new Sons of Anarchy Redwood original series.
A friend of mine is a big Sons of Anarchy fan. Myself, not included.
Well, I was always a fan of the show, so shout out to Reagan from Rock Hobo's Comics, our local comic shop. He recommended it to me. It's actually just it's like a prequel to the actual show. It focuses on a young Jax fresh out of high school. He was actually a high school dropout, and he is a prospect. to the Sons of Anarchy. So you still end up seeing like a young Opie who was his best friend in the show, Clay, Gemma, Chibs, Tig, Bobby Elvis, the characters that we all like grown to know and love. There's only been one issue so far, and I'm actually very curious to see where it's gonna end up.
We'll definitely have some more reviews as they go and see how. The comics get a little difficult with that. I know Buffy and Angel, they had the continuation of comic series, which was like a legit canon continuation. So I'm interested to hear if that stays like close to the show. It's always difficult. Is the creator of the show part of it?
Yeah, Chris Sutter, he did give his blessing. He's somewhat involved with it. It's actually written by somebody else. His name I can't remember right now. But yeah, Chris Sutter is definitely involved. So it can't be Sons of Anarchy without Chris Sutter.
Right.
And all that. So and then on my recent trip to the Rock Hocos, Reagan actually gave us some good recommendations. One is called Briggsland, which is by Dark Horse, and it's actually been recently picked up by AMC. So that's going to be a show pretty soon. So he actually urges like everybody to at least get the number one, the first issue, because if the show's a hit, the value of that comic could just skyrocket. I mean,
that was supposed to stay in the chat, Carlbert.
Now
the value.
well, none of you guys actually.
Everybody has it, Carl.
I ordered on Amazon, Carlbert.
Instead of giving money to your local comic shop.
No, I didn't actually order it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say shame on you.
That's not being an awful human being.
I mean, because like I said, Amazon could deliver like 20 packages a month late, and I would still order from them. It's just convenient. I hate going to the store.
That's what they like to hear.
Yeah.
That's right. If we have an Amazon employee listening to this show, fuck you.
So, and then there's also a new Iron Man coming out soon where Dr. Doom is Iron Man.
Yes.
So I'm very interested to see where that would head and where that's coming up. I already have them saying, hey, I want to subscribe to it. Put it on hold for me. So, but that's pretty much it. That's all for what I have.
Cool. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I give that a B+. B+ summary of all those comic books. Vic?
Yeah. B minus.
you're the professor. So I like it. Now the Doctor Doom becoming Iron Man. I know there's a lot of fallout from Civil War, which Eris has been reading, which isn't finished yet. The way these comics are doing this stuff is really, I can't keep up. So they're doing Civil War. When that finishes with the 7th issue,
correct.
Is that when all the new stuff is coming out with the new Ironheart, who's an Iron Man, the new Hulk, who's Amadeus Joe?
No, that's been out.
Oh, okay.
The Amadeus Joe stuff is
okay.
out.
And I know, I think they're doing X-Men versus Inhumans soon, or Inhumans versus X-Men.
You got it.
My boy Cyclops getting done dirty.
Good.
Oh man, yeah, I was reading about that recently. I did not know where. Wow, Cyclops, you've really gone off the deep end. Whew.
Wait, what's he doing? I don't pay attention to Cyclops. He sucks.
He's really evil.
Oh.
He's hella evil.
Really?
Yeah, well, the Phoenix Force got involved.
Oh, of course.
But not like fully involved. It was him.
Oh.
It was him.
Okay.
It was him, and it's still him.
So he turned heel.
Essentially, yes. Oh, yes, he did. He freaking, oh my god. This is Stone Cold Steve Austin in WrestleMania 17 heel turn.
It's the way to do it. I mean, if you're Rocky Maivia and everyone hates you, you got to turn into the Rock, bro.
If you're
good analogy.
If you don't want to get comic book spoiled for you,
bro, you have to just
now.
Eventually.
15, give me 2 minutes.
If everyone hates you, you just have to join the nation of domination. You just got to do it.
I think part of it, like you said, there's a lot of mixed opinions on Cyclops, and he was done.
No, they're not mixed. He sucks.
He was done poorly.
Everyone knows he sucks.
Nope.
Literally everyone.
Your opinion is not the majority.
Yeah, it is.
You're a.
Hey, Carl, does Cyclops suck?
Alright.
Victor, does Cyclops suck?
For the most part.
Yeah, okay.
So, Carl Bird said he's I said he's cool.
Carl fence sits on everything.
Really
Carl never has an opinion on literally anything. Hey, Carl, is milk a good drink?
No.
It's alright.
No.
Habitual fence sitter over there.
What about chocolate milk coffee? I know that I can count on Carl Bird to sitter, so I always get a 50%, which I appreciate. But yeah, he.
I try to look at pros and cons, and then I'm just
And
always
then just go right down the middle.
Well, so long story short with X-Men is because they don't have the rights, Marvel's essentially kind of sliding them along, pushing them to the side a little bit, bringing in the Inhumans, and there's a Terrigen Mist who's killing like all the X-Men, and Cyclops was mad about his like daughter from the future. The Avengers wanted to contain her because she.
Oh, okay, I have heard about this.
He was like, no.
That was like a big crossover event.
Yeah, Avengers versus
Avengers
X-Men.
vs. X-Men. Yeah, that was a couple
he
years
said
ago.
no, went crazy. Phoenix Force killed Professor X.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Totally,
yeah.
yeah.
And now it's Inhumans versus X-Men.
Alright.
He's fucking crazy, and he's crazy. And then, like the Phoenix Force is gone, but he's still crazy. I think it's gone.
Alright.
This is more of a summary that I've been reading because I was just like, what the fuck?
Right.
Maybe I'll pick it up later. But because Marvel doesn't have the X-Men movies, I don't really care what they do with them in the comic books right now.
That's why they're going super hardcore
Yeah.
on the Inhumans.
Yeah. I get it. Business 101.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would totally not ever do anything interesting with the X-Men if I couldn't have that license. Screw
Speaking
that, bro.
Speaking of Marvel, are there any X-Men in Civil War?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, some of them, especially
Just
like
through.
Hank McCoy plays an integral part in a lot of that stuff. As a matter of fact, he is now a member of the Inhumans.
Oh. So you need a movie now?
Him, Human Torch, interestingly enough, is an Inhuman.
Okay.
Yeah. Marvel split up after the last event, the Secret War stuff. They split up some characters in an interesting fashion, especially the X-Men and Fantastic Four. Like Human Torch is an Inhuman.
Oh, the movies, the ones that don't have movie rights to.
Right. But the Thing is a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yes.
This is weird.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, Civil War. As you know, I am a longtime Marvel head. So for this discussion, I chose to check out the latest big crossover Marvel event for our friends on the Facebook Live. That is Civil War 2. So Civil War 2 is actually really interesting because what I thought was going to be... Whoa, okay. All right, I'm sorry about that. What I thought was going to be just kind of an all-out war turns out to be a lot more nuanced, which I appreciate. It's got that patented Brian Michael Bendis writing style where you get to see sort of a lot of the characters' inner monologues and thoughts, where instead of just thinking their inner thoughts, they say them. But it's very interesting. The story is that a new Inhuman is discovered named Ulysses, who can basically see and experience visions of the future. And this leads to various events where he has a vision of Thanos coming down to Earth with to get a cosmic cube and wreak havoc on a lot of humanity. Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, gets involved and says, "Hey man, that guy totally said Thanos is coming. Fuck that! I'm stopping it." And it totally happens. He comes, they stop it, but in the ensuing battle, spoiler alert, if anybody's going to read this, take, a couple seconds.
This was in the
here.
Civil War preview comic from Free Comic Book Day, so
Oh,
I think it's fair.
okay. All right then, sure. So Rhodey Rhodes, aka War Machine, gets killed in that battle.
Miss Marvel's boy.
Right, Miss Marvel's boy and Tony Stark's best BFF in the entire planet gets killed off, and She-Hulk gets put in a coma as well. So the fallout from all this is Iron Man is freaking pissed because his boy's dead. Carol Danvers is also hurting, but she's like, "Hey man, that dude was totally right. His visions are real. I'm gonna use that in damn it, that name of that Tom Cruise movie escapes me. Vic.
Oh, Minority Report?
That's the one.
Yeah.
So she decides to use that dude in a Minority Report type fashion, where she takes his predictions as complete gospel and starts basically stopping them before they ever happen. To which Iron Man has, he disagrees with it completely because his life experiences have taught him that the future is not written. He's got his regrets about the things that he's done in the past, and he believes that the future needs to happen, or else it's not the future. You need to let it happen.
He's a big fan of T2.
Right.
Not T3 or T4 or T5.
He knows. So they end up getting into these philosophical differences, and things don't spin out of control into what seems to be an upcoming big battle until the end of issue 4. So there's only 4 issues out currently, and I caught up with all 4. So it ends up, after this whole thing ends up going down, they end up basically where Iron Man wants to take this kid and figure out what his powers are, and Carol is just like, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is like, nope, I know that they work, and I'm totally gonna take this. And Tony Stark ends up kidnapping the dude and torturing him, very softly torture. It wasn't like he wasn't pulling his nails out or anything. It's basically, and he basically ends up taking an algorithm of his brain during this. He ends up putting stress on him and stuff like that, just to see how his brain works and how his visions actually work. And he ends up figuring out that it's just it's an algorithm. So his visions are basically a possible future, a very, very likely possible future. And when he kidnaps him, he kidnaps him from the Inhumans. He is an Inhuman. He's part of that nation. They are a sovereign nation. And he ends up basically declaring war on the Inhumans, and Carol Danvers ends up, interceding in there to stop it from becoming an all-out war, and they, assault Tony Stark, take the kid back and whatnot. And while they're all arguing about him, she has a vision that the Hulk is going to kill everyone.
Literally everyone.
Everyone. He not only sees it, he experiences the vision, and he broadcasts the vision to everyone else. Okay. So all of the superheroes that were there, including all of the Avengers, all of the X-Men that were there, all experienced that vision of them all getting straight housed by the Hulk. Yes.
Gotcha.
They felt it. They were like, holy shit, we're going to get housed by the Hulk. Oh no, we need to go find this dude. And Tony Stark is like, nah, that hasn't happened yet. Why are you going to get out my boy the Hulk like that?
Right.
So they totally go and find the Hulk. They come to an agreement where they're going to go and talk to the Hulk, or Bruce Banner in this case. So they find his secret lab. They basically get him to come outside and confront all the superheroes. They tell him what's happening. Bruce Banner ends up, feeling betrayed by his people, but Hank McCoy hacks into his servers and finds his research, to which he has been experimenting on himself to try and repress the Hulk. And when he is basically flipping out about the fact that everybody's accusing him of something he hasn't done, Hawkeye totally kills his ass. Puts an arrow through his head, and Bruce Banner is dead. And then Hawkeye gets put on trial, which is super duper interesting. The entire 4th issue is about Hawkeye being on trial, and he is defended by Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. And that becomes a whole thing where they show the really cool thing about the way Brian Michael Bendis writes is that he takes this view and ends up spreading it out. Instead of just being about one or two superheroes, he sort of takes a global approach to the whole thing. So you kind of see social media, how this would become a international sensation type of thing where it's being looked at by everybody in the globe and whatnot, and how that trial is ongoing. I won't ruin how it ends. If Clint Barton walks or not, you should read it. But I just like to say it's a really interesting story. And like I said, at the end of issue 4, it devolves into what looks like it's going to be, starting with issue 5, an all-out war against two superhero factions. So I'm looking forward to the upcoming issues here, because it's been really interesting. So I hope it doesn't just become a war, or just the 3 issues of all-out war between heroes, because the actual discussion and everything that they talk about, should they take this guy and take his visions as the absolute truth, and they sort of show that they're not, they're actually not exactly what's going to happen, and what they should do with his powers. It's a very interesting debate, and the way they present it is really interesting.
Which side are you on?
Iron Man, surprisingly. In the first Civil War, I was all Team Cap, all day, every day.
Yep. Vic? Just be hearing that basis. What side are you on? Tom Cruise's side?
So should you protect the future, or
stop
Stop it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there you
I
go.
think that's
Stop
the
it.
tagline, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'll go with Team Danvers.
Ooh, is it Captain Marvel or Ms. Marvel? Is it Ms. Marvel?
Captain.
Ms.
Ms. Marvel is a completely different.
I think I said that earlier.
Kamala
I
Khan
apologize.
is Ms. Marvel.
Right, that's right. Okay, I apologize. I messed that up earlier. Cobra, what side are you on?
Iron Man.
I'm also on Iron Man's side.
Yeah,
Especially-
surprisingly, he's usually the biggest
I
D-bag.
know he is, but especially if it's not 100%. Especially with that.
Maurice.
Yeah.
Who's David Cirillo?
That is my father.
He says nice chairs.
Thank you. Over chairs.
And Alicia says, I must procure this comet. Redeem Darius.
You got it.
But yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'm glad, and obviously it came out as a promotion for the movie as well, but it sounds like, Marvel's got their shit together. That whole event, X-Men and Humans thing's a little weird, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Their big events tend to be well thought out and
Yeah.
planned.
I was all on Captain America's side the last time too, so.
Same here.
Yeah. Anything else besides Civil War?
I'll save the rest of the stuff for later. I'll
Yeah,
let you guys let your comic reading
I
begin
got you.
here.
That might actually, I know you read a few other things, but that might be good for not the next episode because there's just so much to it, and that's a whole other reboot, that's soft reboot.
Yeah,
so.
DC Rebirth.
Yeah.
I read the actual event comic, and it's really interesting.
I'd like to get into that.
We'll talk
later.
about that
Sounds
later.
nice.
And I also want to read some of the aftermath
Yeah.
stuff of that.
For
event,
sure.
So.
Yeah.
What you been reading?
Well, what I've been reading is an oldie but goodie. I've been reading Neil Gaiman's classic beloved series, The Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first 6 volumes, which I completed. You can show that to our Facebook Live.
That really is a
Audience.
classic.
Yeah, Sandman, it's a 75-issue series which was first published in 1989 and concluded in 1996. And it's a remarkable, exceptional series. I absolutely love it. I'm on volume 7 right now, which is called Brief Lives. And Sandman, the Sandman, it's essentially this dark fantasy / horror series, which has elements of different types of fantasy, and it's set in the modern day for the most part. And the Sandman is centered on the character known as Dream, otherwise known as Morpheus, and and Dream represents this group called the Endless, and the Endless is this group of beings which represent different concepts and aspects of reality, of existence itself. So Dream is the main character, and so he's otherwise known as the Sandman, and he represents dreams. When you're asleep, he controls that dreamscape, what you think about, and what kind of inspires you. So it's kind of like a muse in a bit of a fashion in some ways. And his other siblings include Destiny, Death, Desire, Despair, Delirium, and Destruction. And so they all have roles to play in reality. And what's great about this series is that this whole series, from the first issue onwards, is all inspired by different cultural myths and mythology and folklore, and it weaves all sorts of great genres together. And especially in the first couple of volumes, it's actually set. It is set in the same universe as the mainline DC universe. DC. What's really cool is that in this book, it's your first introduction to Dream, and it starts off in 1916, where this occultist magician named Roderick Burgess, he actually tries to summon Death, and tries to summon Death and kind of control her for his whims. But instead, he ends up capturing Dream instead, and so he doesn't know what to do with him. So he has him imprisoned in this specialized prison where these magics sort of keep Dream in prison, and he can't go back to his realm. And it does affect the world in some ways, because some people can't, for example, can no longer dream. Some people can only stay awake, or some people just fall into a coma and never wake up. And so while he has Dream in prison, the story progresses where he's getting older. His son kind of takes over his occult business, and once the father dies and his son takes over, Dream actually manages to find a way to escape, and he actually punishes his son, Burgess' son, by by forcing him to endure an unending series of nightmares every time he closes his eyes. So when he closes his eyes, he just goes insane.
Ooh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, and there's also another part, which what happens in the first book, where there's this little known Batman character named John D, who's known as Doctor Destiny. He's like a inmate from Arkham Asylum, and he captures one of Dream's totems of power, this ruby. So he goes into this diner, and he's just sitting there with this ruby. He's just marveling at his power. And as he's sitting there, all the patrons in the diner just start going insane. They start, mutilating themselves. They start stabbing and killing each other. And Dream finds out where his totem is, and he kind of tries to put a stop to it.
Sounds like a job for Batman.
Yeah, I don't think Batman would know what to do in that situation.
By the way, your father says 1989 is an oldie.
That was the year after I was born, so yes. Officially.
Yeah. It is a classic series. It's
In comic book years, yes, I would say so for sure.
Yeah. So that's like the most horror-ish element story of the series, and then you have other stories where there's one in which Dream ends up at this serial killer convention at this motel, and he has to do battle with this grotesque creature known as a Corinthian who has teeth for eyes, and it's like made from the stuff of nightmares. It's freaking horrifying. I loved it. I loved how effective it looked. But
I'm glad.
the whole series is that it kind of talks about the whole nature of like storytelling, and it kind of like it dovetails into other side characters, which kind of puts an interesting spin on things. Like for example, in Volume 3, which is Dream Country, which focuses on 4 side stories. There's one story in particular which is called A Dream of 1,000 Cats, and that's actually known as one of the more popular side stories in Sandman, the whole series, where it follows this house cat, and he sneaks away from his house, and he comes upon this meeting of other like stray cats from around the neighborhood, and this cat is retelling a story about how this cat fell in love with this tomcat. They had a bunch of kittens, but then the owner found out, and he didn't want these kittens. So what he did was he took these kittens in a bag and just dumped them in the river. Just drowned them all. And so this cat, yeah, it's entirely fucked up. But this cat decides, this cat becomes disillusioned with humanity and being a pet. So he decides to rally all these other cats in the neighborhood to kind of rise up against their owners and just take over shit. And so this cat relays a dream that he has, where he actually runs into Dream, the main character Morpheus, who comes to her in the form of a cat. And presents to her a world where humans are the pets and cats are, the owners. It's like a Planet of the Apes or Planet of the Cats type situation.
Sounds like a job for Catwoman.
Yeah, and in this weird world, the humans, they're pets and they're enslaved. But all of a sudden, there was one human who actually decides to say, you know what, fuck this situation. We're gonna rebel. So this human actually rallies up all his fellow human pets, and they rise up against their feline oppressors, and they take over, and they overthrow the cats. And so that kind of implies that that's why, the whole nature of the whole, there's an imbalance nowadays where we're the owners and the cats, they were the former masters, so we own them.
Okay, we got a interesting message on our Facebook Live. Your father says, Maurice, Mom says your friends look very nice, but Alzheimer's said to watch the language.
We'll do our best.
We will.
We make no promises. And yeah, so that's.
Stop trying to hold down our artistic vision, Mom.
So yeah, that's one pretty awesome story there, and there's a whole bunch that goes on. Like I said, I'm on volume 7 right now.
Nice.
How many volumes altogether?
There's 10.
Oh, okay.
There's 10 in the whole series, and plus there's one series. There's one miniseries that just came out, I think last year, called Sandman Overture, which I haven't read, but I hear that's pretty fantastic.
So we'll definitely get a review once you finish as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Like I said, like Sandman, it's an awesome series. Like just exceptionally well written. Like if you're in the mood for something that's dark and very creative and very visionary, and Neil Gaiman is just a very talented writer, and like this is a series that like it actually inspires me to write my own stuff. You know,
Whoa.
that's how good it is. Like I want to actually get down and write my own stuff. It may not be as good as gaming stuff, but hey, I'll take my.
I want to sell
Well,
yourself.
I mean,
Just do it.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, us here at the Codex Crime Podcast love local artists. If you have anything you want to share, you want us to share out for you, codexcrime.podcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to. Vic, if that's one of your stories, works, let us know. We'll get it out there. We got a lot of followers. You want to show the local work?
Yeah, indeed.
Your father says he doesn't mind the bad language.
And one last thing, you guys, I think we mentioned this on the show. There was talk about making Sandman an actual a film adaptation of Sandman with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who was attached to it, but he dropped out. If they do make a film version of Sandman, because each volume is just pretty much dense and full of thematic weight.
No Zack Snyder?
No Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder would not know what the hell to do with this material. Two, if they do make a film version of Sandman, it should be entirely original, just for the film. It shouldn't adapt any one of the 10 stories. It should just be one original film narrative. That's how I think it could work. Otherwise, it should be like a television miniseries or maybe like a 2-season TV show on Netflix or HBO.
Miniseries for sure. Nice. So you recommend that highly to all comic book readers?
Absolutely.
I like it.
It's one of the most critically acclaimed series of all time, and with good reason.
I might check that out myself. I will.
Yeah.
Speaking of what everyone should read Star Wars.
Yeah.
The coolest. That's right. Boom. That's actually a really good spot for that. If you're a fan of the movies, you want to read some of the new stuff, the new canon. If you're over the old EU, Star Wars, they have a few that are out right now. They got Star Wars, the main story. They got Star Wars Darth Vader, Star Wars Leia, Star Wars Lando, and the last Star Wars, the last Padawan, I believe, which is the gentleman from Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, his name escapes me right now.
Oh, Kanan?
Kanan, yeah. So right now, I am reading only Star Wars and Vader, because they're really the only two that I really care for at the moment. And Leia takes place in the main Star Wars line. It's her and the big three, essentially, her, Han, and Luke. And it details Luke's quest to find information on the old Jedi Order, trying to get that back together. And it brings him up against a few familiar foes and new foes alike. Boba Fett, not Jabba, a Hutt. It actually shows a Hutt in a really cool way, which you don't really see before, because you just Jabba just sitting back and This Hutt actually does work, and it's actually really cool to see. You get more of the insight to Han and Leia, and Luke, you can kind of see where he gets some of his training from, his fighting abilities. He's still a cupcakey little bitch, because it takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Hopefully, as it goes further down the line, he'll get better and better. And it actually details Obi-Wan as a hermit, which is pretty cool. So the artwork with him is awesome. With Obi-Wan especially, watching him age, some of the artwork in Star Wars, the line is awful. It is so bad at some points. It's weird. There's one panel I'll find later for you guys. That's just, it's Luke getting knocked out, and it's just, that kid is weird. He looks so weird. But it's really good. As a Star Wars fan, you'll enjoy it. Get some good insight into the Jedi, the old Jedi, what Luke's trying to find. It actually incorporates a little bit of the old EU, which I'm enjoying, the 100-Year Darkness, which is essentially where the Sith came from. There's like a 100-year lost time in the galaxy where Jedi and Sith split up, and the Sith came to really be. So that's interesting. They're bringing that back in. In Star Wars Rebels, they're bringing in Admiral Thrawn, who was an EU character from the Thrawn trilogy, which used to be the unofficial sequel trilogy back in the day. Really good book. The other comic series is Vader, Darth Vader, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Vader's awesome.
Good.
And seeing Vader really be Vader is amazing. I highly recommend it. There's actually a crossover book, which I recommend number 1. Even if you don't read any of these Star Wars, I recommend picking up Vader Down.
Yeah,
it
I
is
need to read that.
It is the crossover between Star Wars and Darth Vader. And because
Vader's fantastic.
Vader's a story essentially is him trying to find Luke. At the end of comic book number 1 of Darth Vader, remember it's only 25 long, 25 issues, so you know there's going to be an end to it. He finds out that Luke is his son, and he's pissed. He doesn't know Leia is his daughter, but he knows Luke is his son. He's looking for him. He's trying, and you see on the side what he's trying to do to get underneath the Palpatine trying to find Luke on his own. But you see the other people in the Empire trying to curry favor, get over him because they just want to replace him. The way he fights is awesome. His Vader down is so good. The first few lines or parts of it is he's essentially they're like, oh, we sent a squad. No, we sent a battalion. No, we sent 5 battalions of rebel troops because he's Darth Vader. And the way he just brings them down is awesome. And they don't really draw him as like the artwork in that is really good. They don't just draw him as a clunky robot. He actually looks lean and mean in his suit.
I'm looking at this now, and he looks so big.
He's so.
I literally just turned to a panel where he is apparently surrounded by a rather large rebel contingent.
Yep.
And they tell him that he is surrounded and he should lay down his lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
His response to literally an army is, all I am surrounded by is fear and dead men.
Yeah.
That's so BA!
He was not kidding. I actually have in my notes here, Vader down could be standalone, and Vader is BA. He has a lot of really cool fights. He has a fight with General Grievous wannabe. And throughout the story, you see this guy's trying to get some of the Grievous tech and trying to build out his own piece, so it's really fun. And there's a few new characters that are pretty good. I haven't got Volume 3, I actually just recently ordered that because it wasn't on sale at the comic shop. Newberry Comics and Social Me, sorry. This is so much closer. So I'm waiting for that to come in. The last Star Wars Rebel Jail was more. It was interesting. Interesting how you liked it, Vic, because it's kind of like all the women in the Star Wars universe, Leia, and a few new characters, women characters, really powerful. They do a good job. They save the day. They solve it. Han and Luke, they literally spend the entire volume herding nerfs because they're trying to make money for the rebellion because Han gambles it away. So it's actually pretty funny. The woman comic, I really enjoyed that as well. But the Vader Down crossover, top notch. Highly recommend it. Even though don't read anything, read Vader Down.
I will read that.
And the only other one I read was Obi-Wan and Anakin, which was a 5-piece, a 5-part miniseries. Takes place between episodes 1 and 2. And it kind of just does the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin, how that grows, how Anakin gets kind of he whispered in his ear by Palpatine as a young kid, because in the movies you just kind of see it happen, like, why are these guys best friends? And in that you kind of see it. And Obi-Wan is a complete G in that miniseries. He's awesome. That shit, like Force Unleashed Obi-Wan. It's really good. It's really good.
That sounds legit.
So I recommend it. It's only
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, it's 5-part miniseries. Pick it up. But Vader Down is my #1 recommendation. I'm going to keep reading these as they go. I'm really interested to see where Vader goes from here. The next one is about him going to essentially stopping a war on a planet. He's dispatched to take care of it himself. So not by himself, but with his troops.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it. Highly recommended.
Awesome.
Yeah. Carl Burke, question of the week.
Question of the week. We're taking a little trip to the video game realm. What video game cheat code / password do you still remember from back in the day?
Up, down, left, right, BA start.
Konami.
You got it.
You?
ABACABB. Blood Code
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
In Sonic the Hedgehog #1, I don't think it's a Konami. It's up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right, A, B, start, and that gives you every single level.
Oh, nice.
From the start menu. That is the exact code.
Alright, there's two. A password from the original Metroid for the original NES. Justin Bailey, all zeros in the bottom. And you just get like this purple Samus.
I like it.
And,
Samus with no suit.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep.
And then for Sonic 2, for Sega Genesis, was left down left, right down right, left right. And that was, I think that was like a level selection as well.
Nice.
I like it.
They're all good ones.
Let us know.
Codes.
I know, right? I
Let us know.
remember.
Email us, codexpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll post on the Facebook, the Twitter, all the social medias. You'll find us and answer there. We do have one email today from a friend of the show, Furman. Number 19 is the subject line. What's up, fellas? Congratulations on 50 episodes. You've given us so many great moments on the podcast, it was hard to just pick one. That said, I'm really sorry I missed the live broadcast as I was dealing with job-related matter and Overwatch depression. I did manage to check it out online and love the new digs. Such a huge upgrade to the studio, and the sound is fantastic. It's like you're making sweet, sweet love to my ears.
Oh yeah.
Like Morgan Freeman whispering me a story. If I can make a suggestion, please don't buy Carl or Victor a headset. Keep Carl yelling in the background. I love it. And do we really have to have Victor's voice sounding better? It was already at risk of losing consciousness listening to him before. Now it's going to be in super high quality. Can't wait to bleed from my eyes and ears. Quickly to what I've been up to. New Saga graphic novel. Overwatch. Fantasy football. Overwatch. Madden. Harry Potter. Fuck Genji. Witcher. Edition for $40. Hating at everyone who yells out angry Japanese words on certain video games. That's all, boys. Keep it up, and I'm hoping for 50 more. Your number one primer, Furman. Thanks, Furman.
Thanks, Farmer.
Saga, that's, were you reading that cover?
Yeah, I still haven't got my volume 6? Either volume 6 or 7, I haven't got it yet. No, it's 6.
On that.
It's 6, so I haven't got it yet, but it should be coming like any day.
If we all read that, we'll all read myself, and we'll definitely get a big episode going on that, because it sounds like it's pretty legit.
It is one of the best things out there right now.
Cool. I'll give myself a list.
I can let you borrow the first few.
Oh, nice you covered. Thanks.
It is real nice of you, Carl.
I'm a good friend.
Yes, you are, even though you're a Cowboys fan. Any final thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
Nah, man, it was fun getting back into the comic book swing of things.
Yeah.
I feel like I got away from my comic book reading for a while there, and this episode really brought me back. So I'm looking forward to continuing Civil War 2 and seeing where that goes. And planning to check out some of the Rebirth stuff because I've read that DC is killing it right now, surprisingly.
Yeah, I'll be picking. I still have some DC Earth 1 stuff I want to read, so we'll do another comic book episode sooner rather than later as we end this past season, or like a year, excuse me. So we'll definitely get more into it. But
James Survivor, we're still waiting on Hellion.
that's right, yeah. That's the number one thing we're waiting on. Jeez. But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Catch you all later. Later,
Alright,
nerds.
for one of them 5-star reviews on iTunes. You guys are slacking on that, by the way. Everyone. Peace out, y'all.
Take care
Thanks for listening.
and watching.
You don't want to say something sweet to your biggest fan, Furman, Victor.
Oh yeah, Furman, bite me.
And with that, we are out.
Nice. How are we on time?